Like, I'm Sonia, by the way, and very, very sorry for the.
No, you're all good.
Okay.
You are all good.
Okay. So this time we can do it better than the last time. Yes. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I was a little bit nervous the last one, so.
Okay. Just be free, okay? There is no. mm, Okay. Can you please introduce
Sounds good.
yourself first?
Yeah, 1 second. There it is. Hi, so my name is Eric Bergeron. I'm a writer from Canada. I actually live in Calgary, Alberta. And it's really cool to be doing this interview today.
And where are you joining from? Which country?
I'm in Canada.
Okay.
I'm in Alberta.
Okay. Can you tell the title of your book and poem and how you got inspired to write it?
Yeah, of course. So my book is going to be called 2:38 a.m. Darkness of My Mind. The poem that I'm going to be reading later on in this interview is called My Thoughts on Paper. And my inspiration to start writing actually was when I went through my first kind of trauma years ago. I started writing to kind of process what I was going through, and to kind of get things out there into the world that I didn't think I could say out loud because they would have felt too real. So writing at first was my way of just processing things that were going on in my life.
Okay. Was there a specific moment you got inspired for it?
Um, I don't know if it was a specific moment, but it was a kind of a collection of moments. I write a lot about some of the big moments that happen in my life, like milestones or accomplishments that I've made throughout my life so far, and just different times in my life that things happen, and those are kind of the basis of what I write about mainly.
Okay. So, how do you describe your book or poem to someone who is discovering for it for the first time?
So my book is going to be kind of a representation of my own mental health journey and my healing journey as well. The first few pieces, the first half of my book is going to be a lot of my darker pieces about kind of depression and loss of relationships and kind of the darker things that have happened. And then as the book goes on, it's going to get lighter and more heartfelt and a lot more kind of love poems, because my journey was very much when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, I was in a bit of a darker place. And I wrote a lot of pieces in those times, and then as I started to heal and get better, my writing got softer and more gentle. So my book is going to reflect that kind of.
I think most people will relate to that. Yeah. So, what themes or emotions were most important to you to explore?
Um, the most important things that I kind of talk about in my writing is I do a lot of love poetry and poetry around healing and kind of being gentle on yourself when you're going through different things. And I also talk a lot about being in the dark times and almost wanting to show what living in the dark times are like, to give perspective to people that have never been through that, so they can understand a little bit of what it's like. And then also for people that are in that current place, for it to be something that they can feel heard and seen when they feel like they have no voice because of what they're going through.
I will definitely read your poem because I was gone through it. So, yeah, I think it will also help me in some way. So, What's the most challenging part of writing or publishing this?
Um, well, so far I'm in the formatting stage of my book, and I have over 260 pieces of poetry and journal writings and letters that I've done since I was about 17. So far, the hardest thing has been kind of figuring out which pieces I want in this book, and how I want to format it. But also, sometimes it's the writer's block. Sometimes I will start writing and be hopeful and have all these ideas, but when I go to write, my brain blanks out and it's almost like I can't write. I have no brain power to write at times. So I think that's been the biggest hurdle, is getting over the writer's block at times.
Okay. Is there a poem you would like to share with us today?
Yeah, I would love to read one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is one of my earlier poems that I wrote, and it's called My Thoughts on Paper.
Yeah.
And here we go. Sometimes writing is my way out. It is the way to get the dark thoughts that are swimming deep within my mind out into the world when I feel like I have no voice, when I feel like I'm losing my fight. These words that I messily scribble down or carefully type out, ensuring to check for any errors I might make, come from the deepest and sometimes darkest areas of my mind, heart, and soul. These are the things I do not think I'd be able to tell others, for hearing the words out loud would be far too much to handle. They would feel far too real. Words of light, words of darkness, light, sadness, hope, and strength, all written quickly down to not forget the thoughts in my mind. Words to make you feel the things that you might need to feel, whatever those may be. These small marks on this blank sheet come from my depths, and I hope they reach your soul.
Yeah, it really reached my soul. Thank you for presenting us with it. So, what do you hope readers feel after reading this?
Um, I definitely hope when people read my poetry, I hope it resonates with them in whatever they need to feel. And whether they're in a place of darkness and despair, or if they're doing really well and need lighthearted poetry. I hope that the words connect, and especially if they're in a dark place, I hope my pieces make them feel like they found their voice despite what they're going through, and I hope it instills hope in them that they can be on their healing journey, and they can heal from what they, as I say, heal the ghosts of their past.
Yes. I really like your idea of just healing people with your poetry. It is really noble of you. Thank you for that. And what advice would you give to someone who wants to write but feels unsure about it and afraid?
I do a lot of note taking, because sometimes I get an idea and I have to write it down. But the biggest thing I would say is be real, be raw, and be vulnerable when you write, because some of the best pieces I've written literally come from the deepest places of vulnerability I can be in. Whether that's pieces of about the dark times that I've been in, or the love poems that I do. I put pieces of myself into my poetry,
Okay.
and a lot of them are very raw and vulnerable. And that's the best advice I could give, is put yourself into your writing.
Okay. Thanks. Where can people find your work and support you?
So for right now, I mainly post on Instagram and Threads. My Instagram handle is cgymanwritings, and that's where I post all of my pieces. And people can also reach out to me if they want, and if they're in a dark place or something like that, they can reach out and chat for a little bit.
Okay. Will you ever publish it on Amazon or anything or any publishers through? Okay. Okay.
I think so. I think I want to start publishing and selling in the local stores in Airdrie where I live and in Calgary. But I think I do eventually want to go and publish on Amazon so people all over can buy my book and read my work.
So it was really nice to talk to you, and thanks for attending this meeting. Okay. So bye.
Thank you. It was really nice talking to you too.